So hello and welcome back to Test Drive Thursday. Today we are driving for the first time, I believe, a Mitsubishi, how do you say it? Fuso SuperGreat. This is the first version of it. It's classed as the beta on the website that I downloaded it from, and from my first drive that I've just had in it, I did around 350 miles or so. I really do like it, and it is turning out, I'd have to say, the surprise of the year. So let's start the video by taking a look at the customization. Okay, so here we are inside the upgrade shop. So if we head over to cabins, you can see there's two to choose from. However, what I've noticed is when I'm in the cabin sort of section here, when I click the high roof, it crashes the game. So to access the high roof, what I have to do is go through the chassis. So onto the chassis, we've got three 4x2s. You've got the D scale, the E scale, and the G scale. So each segment makes it slightly longer. I mean, just look how small and compact that is. I was just driving the G scale, which is sort of a normal sized European truck. From all these sort of instruments and everything inside, it's got some Japanese or Chinese lettering, I'm not too sure, but that must be the sort of sizes in maybe Asia or something, because yeah, that's sort of not a traditional size for here in Europe. And then you've also got the 6x4. Actually changes the engine here, look. And that increases the size of the cabin. In fact, no, I was about to say, you do get 3 wipers on this, so it's like a DAF. I didn't notice that whilst I was driving it. Yeah, so you do get a little bit more ground clearance, as you can see. Well, quite a bit more actually. And it's a bit more heavy duty with this plating on the back. I mean, just look at all this. So you see all that writing down there? Guessing that means 20 tons? I'm not too sure. But yeah, that does look very sort of heavy duty. Onto the engines. In fact, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it should have changed it. Onto the engines, we've got a T4. Oh look, it actually changes it. That's cool. Maybe that's no. That changes that, and then the T7. Okay, so I was just driving the T4 about, and it doesn't feel like a 420 brake engine. It feels around 500 or so. It's just got loads of torque from anywhere in the rev range. It's really rather impressive. You got the T6, which is only available in this cabin configuration. Then you got the T8 with 460. I mean, look at that. You've got the T6 with 2,160 newton meters of torque, and then you've also got the T8 with 2,500 with the same power output, which is quite interesting. And then you got the T7 with 60 more horsepower, but again the torque figure is exactly the same. But also here, if you notice, the torque is available from earlier in the rev range, so that may be worth going for T6. I don't know. I'd have to test them out. Now, there are different transmission options when you go for different engines. Like if you see here, we've only got the 212s. But then if you go down to the T4, you've also got a 7-speed available, which is a bit odd. I've never seen a 7-speed before, so we may go to that. I was driving the 12-speed, which is probably why I found the engine was quite responsive. If you went for the 7-speed, you wouldn't always be in the power band, so a 12-speed may feel it, or may make it feel a bit more, again, responsive. Onto the interior, there isn't much you can do. You can see you've got loads of green sort of I don't think that's real leather. Artificial leather accents around the steering wheel on the automatic gear selector. Interestingly, it is automatic. Got it over here on the doors. Then you got this sort of, I don't know, pinkish and almost like cream seats. You've also got some green highlights down here. Some more vents. Loads of storage area. Then interestingly, the buttons are sort of at 90 degrees to like the dash, which is a bit weird. It's that traction control, sort of, I'm guessing they're like diff options and wheel drive options, stuff like that, low and high range maybe. 2 pedals, obviously it's an automatic. You've got like a CD player and radio, climate options. There's loads of vents in here, as I said. 2 over there, 2 here, 2 here, 1 here. You've got the window options down there. I mean, it's just really, really detailed, and everything is extremely high quality. It's quite impressive. Now onto the colour schemes. You've got natural white. You've got a custom colour. I just went with this blue, which looks kind of nice with this lighter blue accent around the middle. In fact, I do want to check something. If you change the colour... No, I was thinking maybe if you change the colour, if it changes these, but it doesn't. Oh well. Then you got a metallic colour, which does look really nice actually. It shows up all the lines of this truck. I mean, it's very sort of detailed, the cabin. All these sort of sharp lines, curvy points here. Metallic works really well on it. It just shows up everything really well. You can see the contrast there. If you just put it on that. Then you got this one as well, which is a bit low res, I have to be honest. But pretty groovy. Onto the options, there aren't that many to be honest. You got this side skirt option here. You can change, or you can add a number plate, or just completely remove it if you want. You can have the option to change the mud guards depending on what sort of skin you've gone for. It does remind me quite a lot of a rally car, those white mud flaps as well. You can't change anything about that. I think that's talking about the 5th wheel. You can change the tread plates at the back, either if you want sort of black or sort of silver metal. Those should be the side skirts. Yeah. What we got? So here you can add some chrome around the lights, which I don't like. I'd rather leave it standard plastic. I think it works better for this truck. Again, you can add loads of chrome options. I mean, just, yeah, that doesn't suit this truck at all. Paint works best. Again, you got the number plate at the front. I'm not sure if they're Chinese or Japanese or whatever. I don't know. We can just completely remove it. You can remove this SuperGreat logo, which that makes it a lot more sleek looking. And then up here you can change the grills, what I was talking about earlier. You got this lighter blue sort of colour that you cannot change. As you can see, you probably see it better now. Got some chrome and then like the full chrome. But the plastic does look nice. It works with all the other plastic parts if that's what you go for. You got the chrome sort of side there. Again, looks weird. Or you can remove it and see inside the truck. Weight saving and all that. Right, what we got? Stock. Well, you can remove the badge. Does look nice without the badge actually. Not too sure which one I prefer. But yeah, you've got that choice. The mirrors, there's no painted options. It's either chrome or plastic. There's no in between. I mean, just look at the detail in these mirrors and how far they go out, which is something I'm going to talk about in the review in a minute. They work really, really well, and you just wouldn't expect it. They may not look that great, but it's more of what do you call it? They're not designed for aesthetics. They're designed to work. I can't think of the phrase, but you sort of get what I mean. There's some door window reflectors that you can put on. Deflectors, sorry. Let's just remove that a sec. So that's the aero piece around the back. Again, it's really detailed, all the sort of metal holders around the back. And you can also put beacons on there if you wish. Now onto the interior, there is nothing that you can do in here. You can't even add a sat-nav, which is a bit annoying, but it does give you the opportunity to have a bit of fun and do a no sat-nav challenge like I was doing earlier. But yeah, those are the options for this truck. So now I'm going to do a time lapse of me building this truck to my spec. Okay, so here it is, all fully configured up. Now I've gone with this metallic red, which does look really good. I mean, just look at the detail down the side with all the steps, all the windows. I mean, I've just noticed the door handle, which is integrated into the sort of lower window. Don't know if you can see that. Like, there's the door handle. And there's the window, which is one of the coolest features of this truck. I mean, the visibility when you're inside is amazing. You've got this back window here. You've then got this really wide windscreen. You've got these huge windows up here. And then you've got all of that down there. I mean, just look at that. There's more outside sort of viewing space than there is the sort of view of the interior. And from this angle, it looks like the sort of door frame is floating. It looks kind of odd, but very cool. Another detail that I do like is the mirrors. The way that they're sort of hinged from above means that you get all the visibility down below. So you're not, well, you don't have any blind spots of people sort of coming past or anything. And it's the same about that side, but I'll get into that later. If we just turn on the ignition, you can see the... In fact, if I do that again, if you just look at the display, you get the Mitsubishi logo, and it all fires into life. You obviously got your rev counter and then speedo in kilometers an hour. You've also got your fuel gauge. You can see we've got half a tank of fuel after I've done just over 350 miles. So it's not a massive tank, but it's not too bad. You probably won't have this truck as your sort of daily truck in the game, so for the odd journeys that you do in it, it's not too bad. On the sort of little display, you've got obviously your gear, as you can see. You then got at the bottom, you've got your odometer. Currently we've got 379 miles. You've then got your clock. I'm not too sure what that is in like the Chinese or Japanese writing or whatever. And you've also got the temperature. There you've got your economy. So you can see I've been averaging 58.6, which is probably the best fuel economy I've seen on a truck in ages, which just sort of tells me that the tank is probably really small. I mean, it's not on that side. I think that's it there, the black case. So it didn't look like a small tank. But there you go. And then you may be wondering what that is. It's actually cruise control. And I think it works really well. I'll show you it later on, but it does look cool. It looks like a autopilot or something, I'm not sure, but yeah, it does look rather nice. You've got all the sort of info displays on there, like your lights, and in fact it won't display it. Let's turn the truck on, it should display then. No, it's not displaying the engine brake and everything. There we go. So yeah, so all the buttons up there. The engine sound. I've definitely heard it somewhere before. I think it may be an MAN, because I know this truck is sort of based on an MAN model in the game, not in real life, but just in the game because it's in like the MAN dealer and everything. It didn't sound that bad actually. But yeah, you've got all the backlighting. You can see it's really detailed, the way everything sort of moves about. What else have we got? We got the wipers. You can see they changed there. So you got 4 different settings: off, intermediate, low, and then high. If you press if you pull the indicator stalk, or the stalk towards you, you've got the hazards. Obviously, indicators on this side. What else have we got? I'm not sure if cruise control's on that side as well. I'm not sure what that button is down there with the L and S. That may be like a front collision warning or something with that thing. Sort of looks like it. Obviously it won't be integrated into the game. It's actually like a B on the brake, which is again really cool. But I do have a trailer put into the not put into the sat nav. We don't have one, but in my memory. So let's go and do it. The visibility though, I find it hard to get over. In fact, whilst we've got an open stretch, should we do a 0 to 60? So I went for the 520 brake. So if we start with 7th gear, I think that may be the best. So ready, let's go. So 11th. And there's sort of 50. Yeah, it gets up to speed quickly, which is what I'm trying to say. In fact, I'll quickly park it next to these Volvos just to show you the sort of size and how small this truck is. I don't think these are sort of full models in the game. I think they're the sort of static ones, but I'll park next to them just to show you, because it's a very small truck. I mean, you can just see though, it's like all the dimensions, it's very... yeah, it just looks weird compared to them. When it's on its own, it does look very sort of big and aggressive, but when it's parked next to one of the smallest Volvos, yeah, you sort of get a sense of scale. And that's probably because it was designed for like small Asian cities. Right, let's get around here. It's got so much power, this 520. I don't even think you need it. That much power with this. Right, so we should be in here. It's indicating. Right then, here we go. I thought a man was standing on top of the trailer then. No idea what he's doing. It's just reversing. I love having that rear window. There we go. Let's put the legs up. I mean, look at it compared to the trailer as well. How small it is. But yeah, this is a 25 ton trailer. 520 brake engine, so pretty sort of low power to weight for this game. So we should see how we do. Right then, so we're coming out of here past the garage. We've got to take a right straight over the roundabout and onto the E6. We then got to turn off and then head. Oh, hang on. I haven't picked the most difficult junction ever. I suppose we could turn. Yeah, if we turn right at the roundabout, we can then... So right. Oh no, we can't go that way. Yeah, we can. Right. Straight on. Left. and then turn off. Right, okay. But yeah, you can just see the detail in this cabin. There's no low textures anywhere. I mean, just look at the wheel, for example. Even though the interior doesn't look very sort of pleasing to the eye, it's modelled exceptionally well. I'm really rather impressed. I saw the sort of images for it on the website, the mod website, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be one of those rubbish mods with sort of no options and rubbish sound and everything. But no, as I said earlier, this is probably the surprise of the year for me on Test Drive Thursday. There was hardly any mods this week that I could find, but this is really rather good. I mean, you can see here the power that's delivered is so effortless. I mean, 8th gear, it just pulls away. You can just leave it in 10th sometimes around town if you don't stop too often. I mean, just look at this. I'm hardly touching it. Indicators don't cancel very easily, but they're very quiet as well, the indicators. Right, so we've got a left here. Oh gosh, car. Oh, I didn't see that car either. It's a problem with those sort of crosses. You forget that traffic can go down there sometimes. You can just pull out in front of people. Right, nothing coming. But yeah, we are away. So talking about those mirrors, obviously you don't have the mirrors on the side of the door anymore. They're in front of you. So if you have like a if you have a wide field of view, you can actually get the front facing mirror in, which is really helpful when you're doing a lot of town driving, especially, or yeah, because you can prevent yourself from crossing the sort of line on the traffic light so you don't get fines. It's also useful when you're reversing because you can see the right way around the front of your truck, so you can make sure you don't hit anything and maximise the space that you've got. Right, so there's a right here, I think. Look at this road, it's quite twisty. Handles really well, this truck. It corners very flat. Maybe because it's quite a low truck, you feel very close to the ground. It's kind of a weird sensation actually. You don't feel that high at all. But the power, I mean 12th gear, don't even need to change down. It just maintains 60 up there. Easily. But yeah, back to the mirrors. Because they're not on the sort of door, you don't have to turn that much. And from this angle here, you've got both left and right mirrors in your view. I mean, that's really helpful. The visibility in this truck, it's got to be the highlight, so I think it completely changes it. Right, we go right as well. So yeah, it looks like we're just following this road. It's quite a scenic route around here actually. The speed cameras as well. The dials are actually really easy to read, despite the font being quite small. I do like it. You've got a very clear green zone, and it actually starts from quite early on. The green zone, it goes from 800 RPM to 1400. And we're already at the top of the green zone now at what, 75, whereas the truck that I was driving earlier with the 420 brake engine, I don't think I was at the green zone that quickly. Right, this is that bigger roundabout, so we take a right here and then straight on, I believe. I think it was the E6, was it? I was going up, I'm not quite sure. let's get some speed up. It's where I found this truck does best on the motorway, because it's so quiet. It just chews up the miles. Well, at least that 421 did. This seems like you're... Yeah, it wasn't like this in the other engine. We're completely revving it out now. Look at this. We're doing, what, 90 kilometers an hour? And we're almost hitting the red line. Whoa! I almost tipped it over then. I think I was a bit too close to the curb. Interestingly, no damage, even though it almost tipped this thing over. Wow. Yeah, so don't go for this engine, is what I'm trying to say. Go for that 420 with the different chassis. Probably won't go for this again, unless you're doing sort of short haul quarry drops. But if you want to take sort of long deliveries and everything, yeah, this isn't great. But it's probably not what it's designed for, this thing, long deliveries. Because of all the visibility advantages, I'm guessing it was designed for in-town drop-offs and tight spaces. Well, I'm not sure where I'm going. I think, well, I've got no choice but to go straight on. Yeah, corner's so flat. I'll give you a quick demonstration of the cruise control as well. So we're going along now. I press the cruise button. You can see there's two visible, or three visible bits actually. You've got the light on the right, which glows green, and you've also got the light on the sort of instruments up there, and you've also got it displayed the speed in the sort of info display down there as well. It's so well planned out. I mean, so many trucks you sort of drive, and sometimes you just forget whether or not the cruise is on. It's really helpful to see that it's still engaged, because you find you're going along the road and you don't notice the cruise is sort of disengaged. So when you get to a hill, the truck's just sort of slowing down, and you don't understand why until you realise the cruise has been turned off by something. Right then, so which way are we going here? I'm not too sure. Something tells me it's not that way. I think it's this way. Again, I'm not too sure. It's kind of the fun, really, not having a sat-nav sometimes. Obviously, you remember the map a little bit better. But yeah. But again, talking about that smaller engine, this doesn't really feel much more powerful than it. I mean, it was a 17-ton trailer that I was hauling earlier, and this just didn't feel any different. I think it's because of the gearing. This gearbox definitely doesn't suit it whatsoever. I mean, look at this. I bet we're doing really bad on fuel as well. Yeah, look at that. It's gone up to 66 now. I've put the cruise on. It's using a lot more fuel now, which is quite interesting. Right, I remember this bit now. So we're turning off. Yeah, I know where I am. Another thing I want to show you is with the sort of retarder. So the first two, you get that icon, and then you get that one, which is kind of weird. It's almost like it's the same logo as the engine brake actually. So I don't know if the sort of first two stages of the retarder button are implemented as the engine brake, and then the retarder turns on. You can actually hear the audible change. So that's kind of odd. Never seen that before. But it is quite powerful, that retarder, I have to say. And it should be just on the right we're dropping off at, if I remember correctly. I believe it's some diesel as well, 25 tons of diesel. But yeah, definitely check out this truck. It's really has impressed me. I mean, the configuration isn't great, but I don't think that's the part of this truck. It's more about the driving experience than anything. It's really comfortable to drive. It's quite quiet and refined and everything. The visibility is great, so if you sort of driving it around places like Scandinavia or Iceland or places like that, you can really enjoy the scenery. I mean, just look at this. It really is rather amazing. Oops, crunch the gears. Right, so it should be just here that we're dropping off at. And due to the fact of all the windows, we should be able to reverse rather well. I hope this is the right place. So we're up here. Let's head up. Got the diff lock on. Look at this. Come on, truck. Oh, we're struggling a bit. Let's put the brake on. Come on, there we go. It's found some traction. It's actually pulling the front wheels off the ground. Let's try third. There we go. Oh, this is quite a tight spot. Here we go. Right, so let's disconnect. So if you have enjoyed that, please do give me a like, subscribe for more, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.